Hey everybody, it's Joseph Conyers, aka Weatherclap, and I was wondering, have you ever been just practicing your instrument, working on something, and wish you had someone to play for, like on demand? Well, wish no more. I'm happy to announce that I'm starting a brand new series on my YouTube channel called PlayMeAnExcerpt, where any orchestra musician can play for me any excerpt that would be heard by me, where I will then provide thoughtful critique and advice. Well, who am I? Well, I'm Joseph Conyers, as I said, aka Weatherclap. I play the double bass in the Philadelphia Orchestra, and I have over 20 years of orchestral experience. I've won 4 different jobs playing in 4 different orchestras, and I happen to be on the faculty of the Juilliard School. And I want to hear you. It's just one hashtag away. So stay tuned for a YouTube video where I'll explain to you all in detail how you can play your excerpt for me. Play me an excerpt.
Cool.
Hey everybody, and welcome to Play Me an Excerpt Live. This is really neat to have a show. This is super exciting. It's the launch of Play Me an Excerpt. I know that I'm starting really shortly. So first, happy Valentine's Day. I hope you all had a great Valentine's Day. I try to wear something appropriate. Norma and I and Riley, we spend some great time together because that's what I do on Valentine's Day. Moving on, so if you haven't subscribed to the channel, this is a great time to do it. I'm really excited about this platform, Play Me an Excerpt, where folks can play me an excerpt for a professional, and I think you'll enjoy the channel, the stuff that's there, but you'll also enjoy the stuff that's coming up with this episode, with the episodes that come afterward. And then I would say, if you are in the chat, please let me know where you're from. Just put it in the chat. It'll be great to see everybody. So without further ado, you're probably wondering, who is this guy, this young lad sitting here with me? This is William Valencia. So I get a lot of people asking me, so Joe, how do you have all the time to do all these YouTube videos and all this stuff? It's because I don't have the time. And William is the one who helps me out with that. So, everyone meet William Valencia. It's great to have you on the show.
Yes, hi everybody. My name is William Valencia. So, I'm a producer, an educator, and musician. And I have also a festival in Ecuador, and I do play double bass, and I study at Temple University actually. And Joseph Conyers is my professor. And I want to talk a little bit about my Waranda. And we have a lot of great things with a lot of great musicians. And actually last year, Joseph Conyers was part of the festival. So yeah, if you want to check me out in the social media and Instagram, that I'm doing also.
Wait, so William, you're from Ecuador? That's like where you were born?
Yes, I was born in Ecuador. Yeah, but
it's a lovely city where your head is literally in the clouds. All that.
Yes, and actually we met in Ecuador 2 years and a half. 2 years
That's
and
right.
a half. Yes,
that's right. Which means you are probably, my guess is, pretty proficient in the language of Espanol. Awesome. So that's for anyone, particularly if Spanish is more helpful when you're writing in the chat. You can write questions in Spanish, and I'll be able to figure out every 6th word in your question. William will be able to understand all the words in the question, so that'll be great.
And also, if you want to write in Portuguese, I know a little bit of Portuguese, so you can write it down in Portuguese too.
Now you're showing off. Now you're showing off.
Hit the subscribe button. Just do it right now, and then you will be able to months actually. And we are really excited now to present this new product, this idea that had Joseph Conyers, that is Play Me an Excerpt. So I would like to give you the words. So tell us a little bit more about what is Play Me an Excerpt and why you came out with that.
Sure. Well, I know quarantine has been tough on everyone. And I've been fortunate enough where here in Philadelphia, with the Philadelphia Orchestra, we've been able to at least do virtual concerts. Well, we've been getting together, all socially distanced, of course, and if you watch my channel, you can see some of that. But we've been having, we're back in August, we've actually recorded enough through June. But we haven't been recording every week, so it's been weeks on, weeks off. And I know some people haven't played with their friends at all. So I know a lot of you might be wondering, well, what can I be doing during this time to help me get better at my instrument, to become more proficient, just to have some inspiration? And I was like, you know what? I'm getting all these questions about auditions because, as many of you know, I'm on the faculty of the Juilliard School and I'm at Temple University. And but I've also had some decent orchestra experience. And I've sat behind the screen for many an audition. And I know one of the biggest questions I get is, what goes on back there? Like, what are people looking for? And I have students asking me all the time, should I change my plan? Should I do this? And what should I do? So I wanted to use this platform to help demystify what in the world is going on behind that screen. Because ultimately, and this is what I feel is most important, ultimately, I think it's really important for every player to be comfortable, to be themselves when presenting. And when you're most comfortable, that's when you'll likely give your best performance. So I hope that after hearing some of the comments that I have on some of the excerpts that are given, you're like, oh, I can be thinking about this more broadly. Oh, I can be thinking about this more broadly. Oh yeah, there are certain ways some people play things, but if I play it this way, is that going to disqualify me? Things like that. I'm happy to talk about. Because I know what it's like. For me, it feels strange because it feels like it was just yesterday I was sitting behind the screen. I mean, on the other side of the screen, playing for someone, playing an excerpt for somebody else, hoping that they would like it. And now that being on the other side, I think most of my professional colleagues would agree. Being on the other side, you'll see that it's actually some really strong nuggets that will always help you in your audition preparation. So the other thing that's neat about this platform is, and we're going to go in all the details below. And by the way, the first episode of PlayMeAnExcerpt will be premiering at 7:45 right after this live. So stay tuned for that. We'll direct you to make sure you can get that. But one of the things that when loading, particularly for when you're looking for feedback, so here's the deal. I'm a child of the 90s. Actually, I'm a child of the 80s. I was born in the early 80s. So I'm not used to this social media stuff still, because I think most of my life was still without it. Is that right? Okay, no. Yes, without social media, little Savannah, Georgia, Joe Conyers make me feel very uncomfortable. We want to make this as open and inclusive a space as possible. So while we might have to find out who you are because we just have to be able to communicate with you, if you want to submit anonymously, we can do that and to actually create that behind the screen experience. So that's what this really is. If you, it could be a solo, a piece of a solo. It could be an excerpt. I mean, I'm very familiar with the orchestral excerpt. And I've had some people ask me, like, well, is one step higher than it sounds. So, yeah, and William, I think hopefully that was that pretty clear about why PlayMeAnExcerpt exists. Just to how can you? So all right, I'll tell you a story. So because we got some time, we have 7:45. So if you've seen The Wizard of Oz, and this is a great analogy for auditions, because if you've seen The Wizard of Oz, when Dorothy, oh my gosh, can't do this, Toto, the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, and the Cowardly Lion. I did it. So when they go to the land of Oz and they walk down that long tunnel, many of you might equate going and playing for an audition like walking down that tunnel. It's very scary, and then you finally get there, and you don't have the fire and the smoke, but it might as well be there because you see the screen, and you don't hear the thunder, but again, it might as well be there because it sometimes can be a little terrifying. And when I don't want to give away the movie for those who haven't seen it, but at the end of the movie, Toto, they go back to the Great Oz, and Toto pulls a curtain, falls, actually moves over, whatever. And you see who the Great Oz is, and you see that the Great Oz is just a person, and that is, if there's anything to take away from PlayMeAnExcerpt, it's just that. There are just people on the other side listening, just people. So you don't have to be terrified. As a matter of fact, those people want to hear you play well. We want to see you do well. We're not like looking to be mean and score down. So anyway, at this point, you probably figure out, okay, I get it. How do I sign up for this thing? So William, tell the folks what they have to do to sign up.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Actually, that's great. And I kind of on the same page about this. Also, a great thing about this PlayMeAnExcerpt is that you can submit like what you have, and if you want, and when we contact you, this can be anonymous. So that's a plus thing, because sometimes I remember that even if it's not good enough, But actually, that is part of the process as well. And I think with this anonymous thing, you can send your recordings and be sure that everything is they're gonna feel safe actually. So I like that part.
It's a safe space. Play Me an Excerpt is a safe space. We're all learning, y'all. I'm still learning. Every day, I'm still learning. And I look forward to learning from you in this process as well. I'm sorry. Continue, William.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, we are in a safe environment, building this community, orchestral community for musicians like you, that you are behind the screen and trying to send the videos. So I'm gonna just go through the steps that you have to do to play me an excerpt. So here are the steps. The first step that you have to do is record a video of yourself playing one excerpt. And this, remember to record with your camera horizontal. Okay, that is really important because it's gonna be really important, not vertical, horizontal. And then you can record an orchestra or a solo excerpt. And then the second step is gonna be post the video on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok. And then you have to use the PlayMeAnExcerpt hashtag, and then tag Joseph Conyers for Facebook, and for Instagram and TikTok is Weatherclef. Okay, and the third step, we will notify you if you got the excerpt, and if you get selected, we're gonna follow up with the information and more information about to follow. And then the fourth step and the last step is spread the word and share it. So that is really important too, to share. Maybe for you it's not important, but maybe for other people it's important. And this could sometimes people are in auditions and they want some critique or some constructive comments, and this will be great for them. Okay, so don't forget to share it. So that's it. What I have, the steps, how we're gonna actually select this all this thing is we will randomly select all these videos, and then these videos are gonna be choose for our team, because we're working in a team. And then we will send some videos to Joe, and then Joe will pick the videos to give the comments, and that will be the process. So remember, if you have any comments, write the comments, or write questions if you have any questions, and we will be more than happy to answer. So first of all, I would like to say, everybody, Mark from Ireland, Rose from Scotland, Esther from Honduras, Lucas from Brazil, and everybody that is connecting right now.
That's awesome. That's great. Hey, everybody.
Yes. So
I love how international it is. It's so funny because actually, with all my Instagram followers, actually more than half are outside of the country, which is very cool. Outside of the United States. That's very neat. So, William, what instrument do I play?
I think double bass.
Double bass. Double bass, double vision, right? Yes, double bass. So I know some of you might be asking, well, how can a double bass player listen to excerpts? So why would I play ever, or at all, right? But why if I'm a trumpet player, or why if I'm a violin player, or whatever? Why would I want to play for a string player? Well, one of the most important things you can do, particularly when you're in school, is play for someone outside of your instrument family. It's that important because in a lot of audition committees, while families of that instrument might mostly be behind the screen, the committee cannot, at least in Philadelphia, the committee oftentimes is made up of folks who are from different parts of the orchestra. So whether it's for a trumpet audition or for a percussion audition, string players sit on that too. And one of the most, if you want your lesson number one from Play Me an Excerpt, one of the most helpful things you could ever do if you're preparing for an orchestra audition is play for an instrument that is not yours. It is the best thing you can do because, for example, bass players, except for, William does not, but basically, and any bass players who are watching, this is not pertain to you. But bass players can be pretty clicky and kind of bass out all the time, and it's bass, everything is bass, this, bass, that, bass gear, bass strings, bass rosin, bass, it's just a lot of bass. And so when listening to excerpts, everyone's listening from this bass perspective. Well, sometimes, if you play for a cellist cellists play very similar lines and have a slightly different perspective that can, one, not only enhance what you're doing, but actually make you, allow you to perform it better because it almost provides a confidence. And I think with PlayMeAnExcerpt, I think if there's anything that builds from all this is developing that confidence as a player, just the confidence. We are in a profession, sorry, I'm a little bit on the soapbox here, but work with me. We are in a profession where it seems like we're always judged. You're always judged. You're judged how you hold your instrument. You're judged with how you hold your left hand. I get judged with how I hold my right hand, for the record. I had someone on TikTok tell me that I should really work on my bow. Which I really appreciated the comment. The bow has worked pretty well so far for me, so but I'll take it into consideration because we can always learn, right? That made me forget what I was talking about. I was talking about getting perspective and trying to make sure that we feel confident in what we do. In classical music, yeah, we're always being judged. We're always being, oh, you have to do it this way. You have to do it this way. You have to do it this way. But ultimately, all of that information should be taken as information. I want to take it as a judgment or criticism, as information for you to then take in to allow you to be the best version of a musician of yourself possible. That is the most important thing. So don't take it as a critique or blah, 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 or someone's coming after you, whatever. Take it in. I mean, this is information that you can then use. It's almost like if you wake up, right? You wake up and you look out your window and it's pouring down rain. Information. That means I'll grab my umbrella before I go outside. It's the exact same thing. If you have a tendency to play things a certain way and someone tells you, because you get that information, you should probably do it this way, you can go into the audition with that confidence to know that it's coming out the way that you want it. I hope that makes sense for everyone. Again, this is an inclusive and a fun environment. Does that make sense, William, or am I just making stuff up?
No, actually, that's so true. That's wonderful. Actually, it's a great metaphor about like go with the umbrella and just be prepared. It's like you're watching like this is like it's raining, but you are prepared now with these tools that you can have with umbrella. So the same thing is like when people give you some constructive comments, then you will learn and grab these things and maybe don't apply to that piece because you don't like it, but maybe you have a broader thought about that. Einstein used to say that every time that the brain grows, it can't shrink anymore. It keeps growing. It expands. So that is the way of expanding and having all these box tool for musicians. That is great. And also one other great thing is that we were thinking that we're gonna have some guest artists for you, so they can have you more critiques, more things to help you. So that will be great.
Yes, that's an exciting feature we hope to add to be part of this PlayMeAnExcerpt. So because I am getting up there a little long in the tooth, as folks say, up there in age, I happen to know a lot of people in the profession, and I hope to engage their insights. So not only are you playing me an excerpt, but you also might be playing for some other in the industry, wonderful people, musicians from all around the country, if not the globe, who might also provide insight on the excerpts that you are playing. So stay tuned for that. We hope to really be working that into the episodes. So is there anything else? Are we getting any questions? Because I can't.
There is a question. He said, "Hi, join later here. Is it only for bass excerpts or are for other instruments? Welcome."
Yes. So PlayMeAnExcerpt is for any instrument, and you can, when this live is over, I just talked about that. I don't know if you're just joining us. Hey, but if you're just joining us, I did talk about that just earlier. This is literally for any instrument, almost any discipline, although I don't know if the singers, will come after me if I start trying to talk about singing. But I can talk to you about a line. A musical line is the same for everybody, whether you're singing or you're playing or you're hitting, because it's all about the line. As a matter of fact, one of my, I've had bass players watch the master classes. They do such a great job. Carnegie Hall with Joyce DiDonato, because she is so spirited in her classes, but you can really start to see the connection of what I love showing those excerpts because my students can see that the same thing she's telling those singers are oftentimes the same thing I'm trying to tell them, and they can start to make that connection. That's another really, really good thing to do. Start making those connections musically, because again, you have the information to allow yourself to play better. Any other questions, William?
I think that is it. I want to say hello from Japan. Somebody wrote from Japan.
Yes.
So yes, hello,
Good
greetings.
morning.
And then I have another question. Is the focus orchestra or is chamber music welcome? Just curious.
Ooh, now that's a first. So here's the deal. I'm always happy to study is music. So I can of course study and I can use that information. So I would say make it work. Absolutely. Again, my discipline is orchestral, but again, I just don't want the chamber music folks. Don't come after me. Someone asked. I'm just trying to help people out, y'all. Don't come after me. So I'll give the best advice I can give. Another question that came up when I put the PlayMeAnExcerpt out there on Instagram was, or not even a question, something that has popped up. So when we premiered the hashtag, there are folks, and this has happened before, and it's fine. There are folks who are adding the hashtag to old excerpts that they uploaded to their social media channels. That's absolutely fine, and that's absolutely great. I know the team is gonna prioritize the ones that came after the launch date, because just so folks have that mindset. But if there are old excerpts that you want to tag, feel free to tag them, because we're going to be looking for as much variety and a big array of different excerpts. And you might have an old excerpt that you put up that might be perfect for the show. So we would encourage you to add the hashtag to old clips if you have them, for me to be able to review on the show. Yeah. Does that sound like a plan, William? Can the team handle that?
I think that is it. There are no more questions, but well, if you have any other questions and you want to know about the process is really simple. But we are gonna put the link for the steps to follow in the description for the video that we're gonna premiere like in a few minutes. It's at 7:45, so you can go there and watch the first episode. And remember to follow the Joseph Conyers channel. That will be great, because we have not only this content, but we have a lot of other things that we were working on about excerpts, and this is specifically for basses, but right now we want to expand to the other areas of the orchestra playing. So
sure. No, excellent. And actually, while folks are watching, because there are a few folks watching, like, how did you hear about PlayMeAnExcerpt? Did you hear about it on Instagram, or did you hear about it on Facebook? And how many of you knew of this channel before? So have you seen any of the other content on the show? And speaking of which, y'all, this is fun. Those two things back there made of wood are how I make my living. So this is a newer venture for me. Absolutely. And I'm so fortunate to have William and his team helping with putting most of this content together. But if you have comments, suggestions, dare I say, critiques, we are happy to hear them, because we're doing all we can to provide the best content possible to answer your questions. And then, just again, demystify a lot of this classical music stuff, particularly for young musicians all around the world who are interested in what it's like kind of behind the scenes, which when the pandemic's over, I look forward to talking more about as well. Yeah. So did we get any comments, or is everyone just quiet? Are they all just too overwhelmed by the power of PlayMeAnExcerpt that they cannot put finger to keyboard or finger to screen to tell us if they've seen any other content or heard about PlayMeAnExcerpt before? Tell us, William.
I think there are some people. Boa noite from Brazil, actually. So that is Portuguese, I know a little bit of Portuguese. I was living in Portuguese in Brazil.
Boa noite.
Boa noite. Boa noite, yeah.
Yeah, I remember some things. I've been to Brazil 2 or 3 times. Generally in the Sao Paulo region. Yes, for the Illumina Festival, if anyone has heard of the festival.
Yes, yes, that's great. I was actually in a festival that's called FEMUSC and Poços de Caldas. That's another festival in
Okay.
Brazil, and
Yeah.
it was pretty fun.
That's
So
great.
yeah, I would like to thank all my team because with all these things and all these also little things, it's not just the work of Joe. Is like we're a lot of people involved in this, and the work that we do is from two companies that were production. That is my company, and then the Red Lab, that is another company that is doing all the graphics and all the animations and everything that we are doing. So yeah, I would like to thank all of you and all the new members that have been joined the team. It's great, and thank you very much for all your great work. So yeah,
Yes, and I'd like to say thank you as well. No,
yeah,
it's great. It's been a lot of fun doing video. I mean, here's the deal. Like, I think in a non-COVID world, I wouldn't actually be in my living room, which is where I am right now. We need to do this from a studio and talk about. I mean, the orchestra travels so much, and I travel a lot. I can be on. I think my record is 3 different continents in almost as many days, going from Asia to the States to down to South America. And I look forward to hopefully having more vlog experiences about that post pandemic. Once we get past this COVID-19, I hope everyone in this pandemic is faring okay. The loved ones are well. There is some light at the end of the tunnel with these vaccines. Cases in the United States are finally going down. And when I say going down, they're back to where they were last summer instead of the astronomical numbers where they were going after the holidays. So there is hope, and there's some students at Juilliard who I've not yet been able to teach in person, but I hope that changes in the next few weeks as well. So for all of you out there, keep the faith. Hopefully we can turn this thing around very quickly, so that we can all be back together again, playing concerts, going to concerts together, and hearing and making wonderful music.
yeah, that's true, Joe. Yes, so everybody, take care of yourselves and just be careful about everything that's happening, and yeah, that's great. So I think we don't have more questions. Somebody, Mateo says my bow broke today at rehearsal. That's really sad,
Oh
Mateo.
no! But at least you had a rehearsal. That's
Yes.
exciting. You were at a rehearsal. Well, where did it break? I hope it wasn't like maybe the hair came out. Because if the hair came out, that's fine. That's happened to me before. It looks very dramatic.
Yeah, my bro also broke, so it's terrible. It's a terrible feeling. I know about that, Mateo.
But hopefully it's not terrible and can be fixed by a leaf year
Yeah.
in some form or fashion. I do actually. Speaking of bows, there's a YouTube video about that, about my bass bows.
Yes, actually, there's one.
As a matter of fact, the one bow I didn't have for that, is my rally bow, which is actually right behind me. That's by Steve Riley. Steve Riley is the former owner of Winery House, who has now since passed off to his son Aaron Riley, who made Riley behind me. So for those in West Michigan who don't know Winery House, you should know Winery House. And if you aren't in West Michigan, you should still know about Winery House. Some fine instruments and great people doing great things for folks in their instruments. So William,
Yeah.
how are things going? No more questions. Everyone is they're just completely in shock. PlayMeAnExcerpt is so much of a concept. Their brains are frozen. I understand. It's a lot to take in.
And Mateo is saying that it was just the hair.
The hair.
Yeah, it wasn't the stick, so that was great. That was great. You are lucky because mine it broke my stick, so it was like, yeah, it was like.
To have this, that's. And actually, some people have asked about the tape that I have at the top of my Grundberger, and I didn't actually see that. That crack was so small, I didn't see it. The person who found it in that stick was the guy doing the reed here, and he broke the news to me that a crack in my stick, and then he wrapped it. And of course, for those of you who've seen that video, you know it takes 80% of the value of the bow goes poof like that. Which is why it's great to have insurance. So the bow is only worth 20% of what it originally was, but it plays well, for me right now, just as well. So maybe one day when I'm no longer playing that bow, someone will get a great bargain because it's a great stick, the Groomer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great.
So
So
it's,
I think yes. Here says time to practice. Somebody said that. So well, I think we're done here. Like with all the questions. Like thank you very much for everybody for that have connect right now to this live, our first live in the Joe's
yes,
YouTube
and hopefully
channel.
there'll be many. There will be more. Let us know if live is where it's at, and maybe we might do some kind of live edition of Playman Excerpt. Maybe we'll just that's something to talk about. Particularly in the pandemic, it's actually way easier with things like Zoom. But again, Joseph Conyers, joined by the wonderful and always majestic William Valencia for Play Me an Excerpt. Again, all the information in the description below if you want to know more about the platform. You can find me on all my socials. I am on TikTok, Weatherclef. I am on Twitter. Hold on, Weatherclef. I'm also on Instagram, which is probably where most folks know me as Weatherclef. And Facebook, just Joseph Conyers. And of course, here on YouTube as Joseph Conyers. Feel free to shoot us any questions that you may have. We're happy to answer them at any time. And I hope everyone has a lovely evening. And before we sign off, we'll say it one more time. If you haven't subscribed, I'm feeling the spirit. Right now. Now's the time to do it. Show your, get this, love by subscribing to the channel on this Valentine's Day. Y'all like that? You know you like that.
Yeah, great, great, great. Yes, happy Valentine's Day. Also, we are like with our like
Yes, I did like that. It's
almost
red
red.
and white. It looks pink, but it's actually red. It's red polka dots, very small. You can make a pink shirt. But, it's really, really exciting to be here with everyone, and we hope you all have a good day. And we look forward to seeing your excerpts. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, guys. Take care. Bye
Oh,
bye.
remember the show, 7:45.
Yes.
The link is down below. The show, 7:45. The first
7:45.
episode of